In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
At the
So
movies.
many. We should wait, right?
Yeah, no, you're good? Yeah, we're recording. It's fine.
That's how it starts?
Yeah, you might as well. What'd you call it? I guess I never had that many. Do you have a lot of black friends, Farah?
Yep,
I don't think that's true.
I do.
Anybody who says it like that, you're like, yep. It sounds like you're hiding something.
I have quite a few.
You,
I don't have that many friends.
You have a good amount of friends.
Decent.
I used to have so many, and they're all gone. I was actually thinking about it the other day. I'm like, what? Did we just grow apart? I think a lot of it is like, you know, I like rap and I like R&B, rap, all music, but black people will not listen to Radiohead, or like they won't come halfway the other way. It's like, come on, man! I know you have existentialist angst. It can't just all be anger and love songs.
Just rock out a little bit.
A little bit, man. I know you get lonely.
I think what happens is, do you think comedy is what happened or no? Because I have a theory about that with comedy. Black comics.
I got friends who are black comedians.
yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
But we never hang out.
Yeah.
Like Paul, whenever like Paul Verzi has like a barbecue up there or whatever, he always invites Damian Lemon, and Damian Lemon never comes. I think black people are scared of the woods.
I think it's going to be Get Out.
Yeah, Che never comes. They just don't like not knowing that there's no other black people around.
They're gonna be like,
and I kind of understand.
Where is there concrete? Can I come?
They won't come up.
Everybody, you are listening to another episode of Defend Your Movie. I am your host, Sean Donnelly. Farah is doing her Defend Your Movie noises.
Defend your movie.
She thinks that helps to
I
do
love
like a
this theme
background.
song.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is the full theme song? Can you make one up on the spot?
I make it up. We have one.
Okay,
It
go
plays
ahead.
before the podcast.
Oh, you're
starts.
just singing along to the actual theme song. Yeah,
At the end, it goes, defend your movie.
it's true.
I don't know who's singing it or what it is. And also, I didn't even know we had it for like 8 months
Yeah, because
until
you
I
don't
looked.
listen to the podcast.
No.
At
no,
all.
I would never.
Not even for quality control to figure things out.
No. We got Alex for that. When I had my own podcast, I had to listen to every single episode, edit it myself. It was absolute hell. Now I don't have to do that.
I consider
and
this
I'm
your
not gonna listen.
podcast as well.
Yeah, well, when I had my own solo podcast that I was self-producing,
Oh, okay.
and it was, I hate listening to the sound of my voice.
Well, our guest this week is a super funny dude, my pal. He's so hilarious. The very, very funny Yannis Pappas, everybody.
Thank you, Mr.
How are you
Mr.
doing?
Donnelly?
How are you, buddy?
Officer Donnelly?
Yes, I have played that on TV.
Yeah, it's just also the name Donnelly. It should come with an officer before it.
I was almost Officer Donnelly. I
Yeah.
took all the tests to be a cop.
Did you really?
did?
Yes. Did I ever told you that?
No.
I was just. I tried to talk about it on stage a couple times.
It's kind of an Irish thing, you know?
yeah,
It's like,
I mean,
it
I'm
is.
not shocked.
Well, my
but-
dad was a cop, and then there was a huge layoff of cops back in the
Shocking.
70s. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a funny story about that. I don't know if I told this on the podcast yet. I probably haven't, because you didn't know I was almost a cop.
No.
I took all the tests. My dad was a cop, and then there was a huge layoff in the 70s of cops, and then
He was a Long Island cop?
No, he was a New York City cop. And then there was a huge layoff. Then the corrections was hiring, and his friend got him a job at Rikers Island for corrections, right? So then he just stayed there until he quit, and until he retired, like whatever. But so I think I had that in my head, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'll just be a cop. Like I said this earlier today. My goal was like, I was going to be a cop for 20 years, and then just get right out, and then take the money, because you get like an annuity,
Yeah.
and then open up a bar. Like I was going to do. I was basically
An Irish love story.
yes, I was a sitcom character. I was Archie
big
Bunker.
shamrock tattoo on your forearm.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. That's Long Island bullshit.
Yeah.
So I was going to do all that, and when I was taking the test, I got all the way. This is what I say on stage. Like, I failed one of the tests, which you can guess it was the physical. It was the obstacle course. I couldn't. There was like literally a 3-foot fence. I was so nervous. It's like you're on line with every douchebag from your high school. Like I immediately did not like every dude that was almost every dude that was taking the test also. And then they send you to a gym, like a high school gym in Staten Island, and there's this obstacle course, and it's not that hard. But I was like probably maybe a little bit. I don't know, maybe it was heavier than I don't know what I was, but I literally...
You were you.
I was
you
me.
were you.
Yeah, it was me.
You were still you.
Yeah.
Non-athletic me.
But you're ready to be a cop. You could be a cop tomorrow.
I'm like good as like a year 10 cop. Like that's the body that I have. Like
they have
a
to
cop after you've
start.
already...
They start very in shape.
No, more in shape than I am.
Boy.
Yeah. So the first obstacle was just like a 3-foot fence or a 4-foot, 5-foot fence, whatever it was. So I was so nervous. I go, okay, go. And I run up to the fence. I tried to get over it. I couldn't right away. I hopped down. I walked to my car and I drove home. I didn't say goodbye to anybody.
And how many tests had you done before?
Obstacle or how many? No, I did the physical, the psychological. I mean the
Before
the physical.
wrapping it up and driving away.
Oh.
Were you already?
Oh,
in
no.
deep with
All the
testing?
tests were different days. So, like,
Okay.
you would sign up for the psychological and go one day. Sign up for the physical, go another day. The written was the first one you take, and then that goes.
Right.
Then
So I'm saying, how many tests did you take?
like 4 or 5, whatever, all the
Okay.
tests. Because I think the obstacle course, I think, is the last test. But the way that I
You were
knew,
like, oh, I didn't know we were going to have to do any exercises.
I'm gonna have to move. I knew I'd drive, but move.
You guys need a paperwork cop? Because I could knock that out of the park.
you know, a guy who picks up lunch.
I feel like the test though was probably like just to see. You could probably have walked around the fence. I don't feel like you had to even do
No,
it.
you had
just
to do it, but it was not like believe me, like it was not that bad. Like I should have been able to do it, but I was so in my head that I literally was like, I freaked out and I just went to my car and I went to my dad's Buick LeSabre and I just drove back to Long
You're too
Island.
nice of a guy to be a cop anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I think I wouldn't be able to deal with it. But the funniest thing about it was to talk about the whole dad thing. My dad was a cop. That's probably why I went through that. I didn't know what to do anyway. You know, I didn't have enough balls to do comedy yet, whatever it was. So one of the tests, the psychological test, I showed up. This is how much I shouldn't have been a cop. I didn't know how to tie a tie. So I showed up with like my tie not tied. Like I just showed up with it around my neck. And I go up to one of the cops that was like monitoring the test. I go, hey, could you just like tie my tie? Because I don't. And while he's
Was he
tying
like,
it-
sure, son?
Yeah, while he's tying
That's
it.
why I'm like all these things. I just picture them being like, okay, you have the job.
No,
Yeah,
no,
this
it's
is what a
not that
cop-
at all. Because while he's tying it, he's going, let me guess, your dad was a cop. Back then I went, oh yeah, he must just be able to tell. And I go, oh no, he was like, look at this schmuck who didn't tie his tie. He's not taking this seriously. He doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
he knew right away. His sixth sense was like, oh, you're an idiot. Your dad was a cop. That's why you're here.
You think, I'm supposed to be a cop. My dad's a cop.
Exactly.
You're not a cop.
You're not a cop.
Yeah.
Right. And I wasn't, and I'm glad I didn't.
When you
because-
left, what was your first? Were you like, I guess I got to open that bar now? Got to figure out a way to get that.
when I robbed the bank and I opened up a bar.
Because that was the only two things in your head, right?
Yeah.
You never thought of anything else.
And no, you know what it was? And then after that, I had a doorman job. And when I had the doorman job, I was like, this is just me now. That's what I do. I was like, okay, I'm just going to be here for 30 years. I'm going to have this. Because a lot of the doormen, you have that and a second job. Because the doorman job is like a do-nothing job. So I'm like, I'll do this, and I'll do something else. And then that's it. That's
Did
the
you
rest
do
of my
that
life.
job till someone came with a big box and you were like, I didn't know I had to do I didn't know there was any exercises.
I dropped the box. I walked to my car, and I drove home.
I thought I was supposed to just walk here and say, have a nice day. Good to see ya.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'll hand this person this envelope
They
for
come with a
you.
lot of dry cleaning. I'm like, that's too much dry cleaning. So, okay, let's talk about this. How are you, my friend, by the way?
I'm doing good, man.
How is life?
It's always good to sit down with you, you know?
I love it, buddy.
Yeah,
I love
last
you.
time we did this was One Question with Sean for Official Comedy.
That's right.
Yeah, which I'm trying to get removed from the internet.
Are you really?
Yeah, because it's when I punched someone.
Oh, and you don't want that online?
Yeah, I want to kind of get that down.
Did you talk to...
'Cause I keep punching
We'll talk
people.
about it after, but you can talk to the guy who produced it. I won't say his name on here, but...
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Somebody else, Jermaine, hit me up about getting something, I think, when the show went on the air, because I think his involved him saying the N-word on stage or whatever it was. So he's like, hey, who can I talk to to get rid of that? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I think
It's one of those things you do them and then you realize, oh yeah, like
that's
the
out there
internet's
forever.
forever, yeah.
But yours isn't bad.
Not bad. It's just like, it's like, it was. We were talking about a time somebody hit me and I hit them back, and then
Yeah.
You just don't need the record
You
out
don't-
there.
yeah, you just don't want
I've had
people
a few
knowing.
podcasts taken down.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I literally, the one questions I kind of wish I had more control over because I wish I could have helped. I wish I could help you out. And then did you track them down?
I'll get
or
it
no?
down. They took another one down, so my managers will figure it out.
You know what's crazy is that.
But it was a good time hang, though.
It was a great hang,
Yeah.
and the show was fun, and it got a good amount of, not like crazy amount of views online, but like people, when I go on the road, people will mention, comics will mention from towns, will mention that to me. They'll be like, "Oh, one question with Sean," and I'm like, "Yeah, how did you know that?"
It's a catchy
It's on
name.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It's catchy. It's very straightforward and whatever it was, but yeah, that's the last time that we did something like this when we were sitting down talking.
Is it amazing we live in an age where they would know just as much about One Question with Sean as your Letterman set? Because it all comes up in the same queue.
Yeah.
So they're just like, oh, these are a couple clips.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, that's what a late night set basically is. You're just asking a show, like, hey, do you guys mind making a 5-minute tape for the internet for me? That's basically what it is.
Hey, you guys spend $9 million to make a 5-minute tape for that?
I need a solid quality 5-minute tape.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Then you know who cares about late night sets? Comics do.
That's about it.
Comics who have seen you do a free show in Brooklyn.
And some clubs and people on the road that want you to have that
It's
credit.
good for
It's good for that.
Real
It's good for the
people.
pre-roll when they
Yeah.
when they're promoting your weekend. You have a high quality, couple
Yeah.
of joke that they can throw up there.
It's what you're
Exactly.
saying. It's the best tape you could have.
Yeah.
It looks the best. It's
But-
it's a milestone for comics too.
It is. It is. But back in the day, it was like
Validation.
Back in the day, it was like, oh, what'd you do? You did a late night set? Letterman or Carson, you are famous now. Did you know that? I don't know if you know
And
that.
like everybody
Because you
saw
had-
it.
everybody
Like,
saw it.
I can't imagine a world where anyone I know or even my family would be watching to the end of any of these late night shows when the comic comes
Well, that's
on.
another thing that happens is that they say that they've done studies and
They
say
usually
that,
do it on Friday too. It's just like nobody sees it.
Well, that's the thing they do. I've heard that when there's a band, the track stays the same. The track of people watching, and there's a comic that goes down by like 40%.
Of course, who wants to see some random person you don't know?
It's so funny because you don't realize like a lot of people don't like stand-up comedy. It's crazy.
Well, even my favorite comics I've seen do late night sets, and I've been like, ooh, that's hard to watch.
Yeah, especially now where people have been kind of desensitized, by the internet, where you can go see uncensored content or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
It's like seeing that buttoned up, completely vetted 5 minutes is kind of, people are kind of can see through it now. You go back and you watch those Roseannes and all those old 5-minute clips from Carson that made those people, you're like, these are barely funny from people who are really, really funny.
Yeah, that's a good
that was
point.
back then where you the material had to be very non-threatening.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was do our sponsors. You go back and watch that Bill Hicks set that got banned from Letterman. Do you ever see that one? And you're like, what was wrong with that?
I know.
And they were that was too much.
I heard for Letterman they had weird rules. It was somebody was he didn't win. It was stuff like cancer jokes, which actually makes sense, obviously. But there were certain things he wouldn't allow be in the late night spots. There were certain things that he wouldn't. He would be like, oh, if you have a joke about toothpaste, you can't do that.
It's
not
kind of
toothpaste.
I don't know, nostalgia for that time. But then, though, that would be, for a lot of people, their only chance to see stand-up.
Yeah.
And, where they were going to see this comedy.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
And fun.
Well, that's what it was.
right.
Back in
now it's just
too much comedy.
endless.
Also,
endless. They don't want, it's...
You know how niche you can be now? Because, back in the day, you had to appeal to everybody if you were doing one of those things. Or you had a TV show, or you had to do jokes that appealed to as many people as possible at once. That's why it was you could be like, oh, that's hacky. This is hacky. But it's no, they were just trying to this is they were only watching network TV for a long time. So it's you had 50 million people watching the same thing.
Right.
So that's why you became famous the next day. And
one
that's why
of
it was so
the
clean
8
and
channels they could watch.
Right, exactly.
That was really the only way you could become famous, if they looked at you and went, he appeals to everyone.
Yeah, right,
Because
exactly.
that's the only, they had 4 networks, and everyone's going to see it, so he has to appeal to everyone.
Yeah, yeah. But let's talk about why we came here today.
Fucking movies!
Movies. We like to do a little bit of banter in the front. Now we're going to talk about the movie that Yannis came here to defend. I gotta be honest. I took a gamble.
Can't believe it. You don't like it.
I'll tell you. I took a gamble because I was like, you know what? I love Eddie Murphy. And you were like, you mentioned the movie to me, and I go, I'm gonna watch it. And if I like it, I'm just gonna say I like it, and we'll talk about it. What a stinker this one was. The movie I'm talking about is Boomerang, which is from, what year is it from? Is it from?
Early 90s.
It's early 90s, right?
Or even late 80s, very early 90s, maybe 90, 89.
And we've talked about 90s movies, and also we don't do many comedies on this show, so it's very convenient that this isn't a comedy. There wasn't one
And
laugh
then
in the entire
defend your
movie.
movie history. I never heard of this movie before today.
Well,
never seen it.
Well,
but
let
I
me
watched
explain
the
to Yannis.
trailer.
Farah doesn't watch a lot of movies, so Farah's point on the podcast is like it's a blank slate to react to us talking
I don't
about the
believe
movie.
that she has a lot of black friends because you would have heard of Boomerang. Everyone who's black knows Boomerang.
I'm not.
Well, you know what's so funny is, one of my black friends.
Call in many. let's
Call
do a
Tanisha right
conference
now. Call Keisha.
One of my black friends, what's his name? You all know him, is George Gordon, you know?
Yeah.
You know George Gordon. And after we did Girls Trip last week, and after Girls Trip, I said, I don't watch a lot of black movies. And I said, it made me realize I'm not a black middle-aged woman. I'm definitely not that. Because
The
one thing
more
I realized.
think about that movie, the more great I feel it was too.
It was
the
a
quality
funny
of
movie.
jokes. There were jokes.
It
was packed.
There was moments that
It
I
was
liked a lot.
a
in that
great
movie.
film.
But
Just wanna
the funny
say
part
that.
is, George Gordon wrote to me, he goes, because I go, I didn't know black movies had black movie trailers before them. I didn't even think of that. And it was all black movie trailers. It was like it was a spoof on like a comedy movie. It was like crazy. It was like the black action movie with what's her name from the show on Fox or whatever. Like it was basically supposed to be Coffee, but it's called Proud Mary. It's coming out. Like you're not going to see that in a white movie. It's crazy. And every movie was like a black movie. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess black movies have black movie trailers. Yeah. And George was like, you realizing black movies have black movie trailers was the funniest thing ever because it was like an honest reaction to it. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, they're not going to play that before like.
Yeah. So the movie that we're doing today is like. Now what you can do is this. I think we can all agree. I don't know, three white people, but like we can agree. Would you agree that some progress has been made? Movies are like it's not as cut and dry of black movies and white movies anymore. I think a lot of people are going to see both. I think Girls Trip is probably more integrated than it would have been back in '93 whenever this came out. Do you know what I'm saying? This was like
a little bit, yeah.
It's like I watched this movie and I was like, oh yeah, this is a black movie from the '90s. Also. A hardcore, like, we are hitting you over the head 90s movie. And we've had other 90s movies in here, but not like this one, where
it's
literally
very 90s.
the script was like the most 90s thing. They say whack and trippin' about 50,000 times. And I'm like, what is this, in living color? What is happening?
How could you not like that movie? Martin Lawrence, David Alan Grier, Eddie Murphy.
All three not being funny. Like
they were hilarious.
But all the stuff you've known they've done. In Living Color, David Alan Grier. David Alan Grier is awesome.
He was awesome in that movie.
He's awesome. At one point in the movie, in this movie, in Boomerang, I was like, David Alan Grier is the best part of this movie.
He was great.
There was a couple of scenes where I'm like, he's being funnier than Eddie Murphy is. And I think they missed the mark. It was supposed to be, also you can tell, this is when you got into Eddie making movies for Eddie. Because like, this movie is like, oh, they should just call this movie Eddie Fucks a Lot. Like,
That's what the trailer looked like.
They should have called
and
it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. They should have called it, hey girls, want to fuck Eddie Murphy? Because it was the amount of times they were like, his name's Malcolm in the movie. They're like, Malcolm, or is it Malcolm? Malcolm,
yeah.
or Marcus.
Sorry,
And they go,
Marcus,
you are brilliant. Marcus, and you move your ass. And I'm like, this is just Eddie Murphy trying to tell you how sexy Eddie Murphy is and how amazing he is. There was no real, like,
Woody Allen does the same thing, does he not? Every movie's dating like Charlize Theron. You're like, really?
All right,
that's very true. A lot of men like to make movies where they're fucking alive.
But this just beats you over the head with it, and it was just funny to me.
I so many things. Even now, there's a lot of shows and things. You're like, okay, you wrote this, and you're fucking a hot girl.
Look at Kevin Can Wait, like his wife and Kevin Can Wait. You're like, really? Is that who, whatever blue collar guy you're playing is going to pull?
Well, with this, what happens is, no, I'm just saying that you could tell. Yeah, that's all true. But I'm telling you, like, Eddie Murphy, the early movies he did, like Beverly Hills Cop is unbelievable. Trading Places is unbelievable. And he was doing other people's movies and acting in them and being Eddie Murphy and being really, really funny.
And they had some white people in them. You're racist. That's what it is, Sean.
Sean is
You were
racist.
like, when's a white person showing up in this movie? And that's what I love about their movie. There is no white people.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't even remember if there was any white extras in that movie. It was black.
It was a black.
I mean, that movie was like
This
Fulton
sounds
Mall in
great.
1993.
It was a super black movie. It wasn't that at all. It was more like, it was like your most like not pompous. What do I say? Like your friend that's like thinks he's amazing.
Arrogant?
The most arrogant friend like made a movie about
That's
himself.
what you couldn't see past your Irish humbleness. You're like, this guy's gonna go to hell, and you start flogging yourself while you're watching it. Don't laugh, don't laugh. Jesus is watching. Jesus and Mary are watching. Don't laugh. He's having premarital sex.
The other thing.
That's what it is, no?
No, I'm telling you. I think
You didn't
comedy.
like the black
nailed it,
cockiness.
yeah.
You can't get into black cockiness.
Black cockiness.
Irish
I'm
guys
fine
have a
with.
tough time with that.
Black cockiness I'm fine with. It's more like I don't laugh at something that's not like when you're not the fall guy in the movie or you're not the vulnerable one of the movie.
But that's the whole point of the movie. He
Yeah.
becomes the vulnerable one.
Oh, yeah, but he gets-
Boomerang,
but
hence
he-
Boomerang. You get it?
is that what? Yeah, what
That's
is
it. Comes full circle. You throw it out. Whatever he threw out came back to him. He was a player, and then Robin Givens played him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
The other thing is that like that's another glaring error in this movie is like Robin Givens is like the main like hot one that everybody's like, oh my god, Robin Givens, and Halle Berry is like the one that's like the more down to earth, like the one that's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they're both pretty hot, yeah.
Halle Berry's fucking gorgeous.
That's movies, though.
Yeah.
That's also in the 90s.
This is not movies.
Halle
She's
Berry,
coming
the
off-
girl next door.
Halle Berry coming off. I mean, Robin Givens coming off Head of the Class fame. She was the shit back then.
They were both hot, but they tried to make
They tried to make her more not like she was like dowdy, but like more like they made Halle more like I'm the fun friend. But it's like no, you're smoking hot. Like
Yeah.
you are unbelievably hot.
They tried to make her.
Yeah, they
She
tried to make her
work
like
with kids who drew.
yeah,
She had a
Another-
short haircut, which even made her hotter.
yeah, yeah, right. Exactly.
No one pulls off a short haircut like her.
Another
Yeah.
issue I have is like I think there was like that's what I felt like. It never got started. This movie, like with Eddie Murphy, he's so goddamn funny, and there were so many moments in this movie that you were like, all right, it's gonna get started. This is gonna be a really funny scene, and like I think they were looking for like these standalone like Coming to America or like Beverly Hills Cop kind of scenes that you like people like you recite to each other, you know, or like Golden Child was like I want the night, like all that kind of lines. This never had one moment like that, and I think there's a moment where Halle Berry like she is like she teaches these kids that they can't afford art at their own school, so she does after school art program. So they go and he's there, and I think they probably just taped Eddie Murphy with these kids and been like something will happen to this, and it's not that funny of a scene. That's what I mean. Like they missed the
Did
mark.
you find it funny?
I found
He
that's
loves
one
it.
of my favorite movies. It's one of the funniest movies I think that I've ever seen.
I saw the trailer and I thought it looked great.
Yeah, well, that's because you're not racist or Irish.
I'm not racist.
True.
I'm not racist. I'm gonna get called out so much on this. We've done 2
You
black
already
movies in
got
a
called
row.
out last week.
I'm not racist.
I know
though.
you're not racist.
It's more like I'm being honest. I'm being
I
honest.
think it's
of like,
because it's the guilt, like the Irish thing. I think you're like, this guy's too arrogant. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see someone tripping. I want to see someone in pain.
no, but
Like
it's
my
also,
Irish brethren.
Like when even in Beverly Hills Cop, he's pretty arrogant in Beverly Hills Cop. He thinks he's the shit in Beverly
Yeah.
Hills Cop, and he's fucking hilarious. I think it's script. I think it's them.
That movie had a lot of drama moments, though.
a
Beverly Hills
terrible
Cop.
like Melrose Place style drama.
And that was more. Boomerang's more of an ensemble. There's even what's his name? Witherspoon. What's his name is in it?
John Witherspoon.
That's quoted. That scene is famous. You got to
Oh,
coordinate.
what happens?
When you got to coordinate with the. You
He
can't.
plays David Allen Greer's dad.
Yeah.
Also,
he goes. I heard somebody at the office got you pussy whip.
yeah.
You can't do that, Mark. You got to whoop that pussy. Bang, 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 bang. And that's a famous scene.
All right, that one I've heard of. But I'll tell you, David Allen Greer, because they go, oh, you look like your dad. They do actually look a lot alike, David Allen Greer and John Witherspoon.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
But
How about that scene when he's riding the bike and they're talking about his. They're riding the exercise bike.
Yeah.
And he's talking
also,
about
that's
how.
a very 90s thing, too.
Yeah.
In the
I really
90s.
liked the bike act.
Yeah, I was acting out because
In the
it's a
90s
black movie, so I'm doing black comedy for you guys.
In the 90s, every friend, they would go to the gym together, and they would always talk about women when they were on machines together at the gym. That's
Yeah,
what
but
that
you know,
was-
white movies, they always do it. They have the cliche scene where two white guys are playing one-on-one basketball. You ever notice that? It's like Ben Stiller, like shooting all. Like these dudes never
Yeah, you're right.
would play. Who goes and plays one-on-one basketball with their best friend to
Sean.
talk about their love
I
interest?
know it. Yeah, I know it.
Sean does it.
So it was more realistic than that.
All right, good point. I'm not saying
How about
it's
that
just
scene
black
though, when
movies
he's
that do
going,
it.
he's the cooling of the testicle walls, and he gets all excited and he starts over riding. That was funny.
It was not as funny as he can. Like, it's David Allen Greer. Like, that guy's is so goddamn funny. It's like not as funny as it could have been. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're watching it, I'm like, I was waiting for some really like fall down on the floor, like laugh out loud moment, and there wasn't.
There's tons of those.
There's not tons of them.
How about when he bangs the old chick?
Not that funny.
Lady Eloise.
It's been done to like Something About Mary did it way better a few years later.
A few years
Later.
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 Again, the white man stealing the black man's concepts. That's the Elvis Presley of movies right there.
I see it. I see it.
No, so what I'm saying, I'll give you this: the scene where one time I laughed really hard was when he has sex with her and he's coming and he goes way too long on the coming face.
Oh, yeah.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
And I was also like, this will be dumb, and then it was really, really funny. Like
Yeah.
he went and then he started sucking his thumb, and it was really good.
How about
So-
when Tisha Campbell is the next door neighbor and she's like trying to hit on him, and he goes, "Not even if Jesus, will you come over for a cup of coffee?" He goes, "Not even if Jesus was serving it."
Yeah,
or when
not
he's
even-
at the movie theater ordering tickets and the guy's not paying attention,
That's what I'm saying. These are
and he
all,
goes, "You're good at this job," and he goes, "I know that." That was a funny scene too.
It was not.
I mean, I could just keep thinking of funny scenes.
No, it was like scenes that are trying to be funny that aren't funny. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, think about. Okay, this is what I'm thinking in the context of. Think about the people that you're saying are doing it. It's Eddie Murphy. It's David Allen Greer. It's all these funny people. Think about Tisha
Martin
Campbell,
Lawrence.
even Martin Lawrence. Think about
It's
the other stuff
stellar
they've been
cast.
in.
Yeah.
And it's a stellar cast. Think about all the other stuff, like even Martin in the show. Think about how funny she is in that. She's not as funny in this movie as she is other shit. That's what I'm saying.
Tisha Campbell?
Yeah.
She was hilarious as the crazy neighbor.
I don't know,
She
man.
was hilarious. It was, I just have a complete opposite opinion of everything you're saying. It's a great movie. That's why it's
That's
a cult
why-
classic amongst us black
What
folk.
is your favorite part? What is your? Oh my god!
Well, in all transparency, you said you were over black people before we started the podcast.
Yeah, I'm just like, I grew out of them. You know? I
I'm
grew
just
up,
kidding.
I'm not over black people.
We'll erase this. if you
I'm
want.
over all people, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm over 40, so it's like I'm over everyone. I'm over myself. I'm over this whole fucking thing. I'm over life. I'm
Yeah.
over everything.
Yeah, no, I got you. I absolutely understand. No, so what I'm saying is this, like, that's why also, to be honest,
Now you just did that because you didn't want to be the only racist on the podcast. You see that? That's the Irish
No,
joke
that's
again.
not
He's like,
true.
I
He
gotta
turned
bait
it around.
him in to say something just because I feel like I'm gonna be looked as the only and Jesus is gonna hear this, and then I'm going to hell.
Look, we need some controversy around this podcast. We need to take it to the next level.
that's not, you said us black people. I'm like, you said you were over black people. No, I'm just kidding. This is why we don't usually do comedies, because I'm like, we literally are just like, I thought it was funny, I didn't. But my point is more.
But that to me I want to do more comedies because that is no different from the other movies we
what's
do
different
here.
about
What's
that?
different if it's a action movie?
Because
Someone could
this-
say that's
the very
bad,
same
that's-
reason, because he's going, I'm
That's
saying
bad.
that-
That's bad. That's good though. Like that's what we do on this podcast. It doesn't make a difference if it's comedy.
No, because you can pick apart dramas for like their acting, the writing, and also the writing in this.
You can
stinks.
for comedy too.
Acting, it can be bad in a comedy. It doesn't have to be good in a comedy. Acting, nobody's like.
Well, in your defense,
Nobody's like that.
I don't
Comedy
know.
was
I think
acted
it's harder.
so well.
I think it's harder to act a comedy.
To be funny, but to act in a comedy, like you don't,
I just
look
think
at
it's
Seinfeld.
just as
Seinfeld was
much
a terrible
debatable
actor.
as a drama.
What?
It's just as debatable as a
I
drama.
agree.
I don't think so, because what I'm saying is like we use this as an example. Clifford, like I love the movie Clifford with Martin Short. I love it. So many people despise that movie, but I'm like, I don't care what you think. Just like you love
Isn't
this
that
movie.
the whole premise of this
Yeah, but
podcast?
that's exactly what
Isn't
we're
that the whole
doing
premise?
here.
But,
It
like,
doesn't
you
make a
can't-
difference that it's
It's all
funny or
subjective.
not.
Yeah, it's all
Somebody
subjective.
saying I
Yeah.
love that movie, somebody saying I hate it.
Yeah, good point. But it's all right.
In your
Fun.
defense,
Be
though,
more fun.
I think what it is like when somebody defends it, like you're not going to convince me that Clifford isn't funny, or you're not going to convince me that this movie Boomerang is funny.
You're not gonna
Exactly.
convince
So what's
me that
the
it's not.
difference?
But other movies, like I've sat down, and people have convinced me other movies. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I'll
Well,
give you
I
this.
can convince you.
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence. How can Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, John Witherspoon, David Alan Grier, Tisha Campbell, Haley Berry. Look at that cast. I mean,
Yeah.
how could that? You could shit on a page and hand that in as the script. And the talent in that movie is gonna. You can't. And it was Chris Rock was in it too. His first role. That was Chris Rock's first role ever. Eddie Murphy gave him that first role.
But
that's
not
a fact.
if you have them doing like really lukewarm things. There's even a scene. I'm telling you, man. Even if you want to debate the comedy, even the comedic timing is off. Like there's a moment, where there's a wedge put in between David Alan Grier and Eddie because Eddie sleeps with Halle Berry because they're getting closer. And one night they wake up, they're just snuggling as friends, and then she leans on his shoulder, and then they wake up and they start kissing and they sleep together.
And David Alan Grier is
like into her, but he's
but
being like hip pocketed, she's not into him.
She's a good girl, Marcus.
Friend
She's not
zoned.
one of your hoes, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, so
Don't treat her that way.
So they get into it, they get into a fight, and then they both walk off. They're not talking for a while. Then Martin Lawrence has like a get together at his apartment, and he goes, "Oh, you're gonna be surprised who shows up." And it was David Alan Grier. And then right away, David Alan Grier goes to the roof. Eddie Murphy goes out, they talk, and they're like, "Come on, you know what I'm trying to say." And then two friends, they get over it. Right? That's fine, whatever. That's a fine moment. But then there's this weird thing where Martin Lawrence comes back out to check on them, and he sees them both standing separate. And it's supposed to be funny, but he comes over and he's like, "Come on, guys, come on, we're been known to forever." Blah, blah, blah. And like the joke is supposed to be
They already made up.
Yeah,
I thought that was. It was
no,
funny.
It wasn't
I thought
funny.
it was funny.
It was
John.
not funny. It was. I'm like,
I thought it
there's
was
such
funny.
a better way that could have been done to make it look like.
Explain how it could have been done.
I
You
mean,
have to
maybe it was
defend
the-
yourself.
Maybe it was the editing of it. It wasn't clear that was what the point was at first, and then Eddie's his delivery of we made up already, and he's like, all right, well, and he goes, all right, hug, and he goes, yeah, we already hugged. It was it was half-assed.
That's funny to
It was
me.
Half-assed.
Even when you just repeated it to me, I thought that was funny. Especially with the way Martin Lawrence was delivering. Come on, man, we're boys. I remember he's like, "Come on, man, we're boys." He's like, "Yeah, we did all that already."
Yeah, maybe.
And then he ruins the chicken. Remember the physical comedy where he's making the chicken and the fucking powder goes everywhere?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
All right, so we had some slapstick. That should have tickled your Irish funny bone. Somebody was in pain and messy and fucked something up. Somebody fucked something up.
No, my point is, I think there's a lot of comedic moments that fell short. I think what it is I think you saw this back when it came out, right?
I saw this in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah. I think, the comedy palette, changes over time. And I think that...
Still a classic to me. In fact, talking about it right now makes me want to watch it. I'm it's been too long since I've seen it.
Let me ask you this. You watch it and you laugh out loud.
I've watched it maybe 100 times.
This movie has
one of my
Wow.
favorite movies.
This
Wow.
movie? Really?
Yeah. I'm not exaggerating.
Funnier than Beverly Hills Cop. Aha! There we
That's
go.
a tough question.
There's a defense for me.
Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 1?
Yes.
Okay, no, I don't think. I think it's as good as Beverly. Maybe not as good. Around
Beverly Hills Cop 2?
That was still good. Yeah, 1 and 2 were good.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I haven't
You
seen
said it's one of
either
your
of those
favorite movies.
movies.
But you just asked
Hold on.
me, do you like pizza and ice cream? I
No,
like them both.
no. Exactly.
I like them both.
But no, not pizza ice cream. It's like, do you like pizza and shit ice cream?
That's according to you.
No, that's not.
To me,
because
it's
I just-
cookies and cream ice
okay,
cream.
now I'm going to prove my point. Golden Child, which is better, which is funnier.
Boomerang.
No
Yeah,
way, it's
Golden
funnier.
Child. It's
I want the knife, please.
yeah,
please.
it's all hacky character shit. This had a script. This had
No,
jokes.
no.
Ensemble cast.
No
great
way.
acting. Great acting. David Alan Grier was great in it.
David Alan Grier's
John
good in everything he does.
Witherspoon. That character was great. Lady Eloise was great. You didn't even like
Eartha Kitt.
Are you telling me you didn't like the part
I think
where
that's Eartha Kitt, right? Isn't it Eartha Kitt?
I wouldn't.
Eartha
Lady
Kitt,
Eloise, yeah.
I mean, look at this cast. Eartha Kitt. I mean,
This sounds-
like a great actress.
You didn't like the. I didn't like.
You
the
didn't
part
like the part where even that creepy dude, the one who was created that Strawn J.
Oh yeah, well that's
when
the,
he
that's the
created
guy-
that commercial.
That's the
where she gives birth. Where what's her name? Oh,
the-
guess who else is in it? What's her name? The famous singer.
Grace Jones.
Grace Jones is in.
Oh, my
I mean,
God.
come on,
Wow,
this
what
is
a
like
dream.
Sean.
Sean.
We're talking about like
Sean.
black entertainment royalty in this film.
I'll give you that. Yeah, that's amazing.
And that wasn't funny to you when he created that commercial, Sharon J, where she gave birth. Like, he was such a fucking perverted guy. He created the commercial where Grace Jones is giving birth to the perfume through her pussy. I mean, it's hilarious.
I think it's funnier that I like him because he's the bodyguard from Annie. Remember Annie? He's the bodyguard.
Yeah.
Remember that?
See, I just think your mind was wandering. I just think you saw. You were
I think I was too far out of that.
We haven't gone over the plot fully, which is fine. I got a lot of what it is,
plot?
but just to be clear,
well, do me a favor. We do this
Eddie
every
Murphy
show.
is a.
They're at a They work at a company, like a successful company. I don't even remember what they do.
It was advertising.
Advertising.
They do perfume.
Oh, they do perfume. Yeah, they're an advertising firm, right? So. Right, advertising. That's where that comes. So Eddie Murphy's like high executive there, and what's her name?
He's a marketing executive.
Yeah. Why am I blanking on her name now? We just
Robin Givens.
Robin Givens is also like, she comes into the company and she's like high-powered woman.
There's a merger, and she comes in from the other Lady Eloise company.
Yeah. And Lady Eloise at this point is just a figurehead. She's a crazy old woman who ends up banging Marcus. Marcus bangs her because he wants to move up in the company, and that part's hilarious. He turns off the lights. You didn't like that part? He's like, can we just make it a little darker? And it's like pitch black in there. And then he bones an 80-year-old woman. It's hilarious.
That's the thing. There's a clapper joke. That's how you know it's 90s. There's a clapper joke.
At that time, that was a new joke.
I don't even know what that is. I don't know.
Clap and the lights go off.
And then it's pitch black, and you just hear Eddie Murphy in the dark go, can we get it a little darker in here? You're laughing right now.
It's full. You said it funnier than he said it.
Oh, come on, Eddie Murphy. I said it funnier than Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Now everyone who's listening to this knows that you're crazy.
I'm not crazy. I'm telling you, watch the movie. There's a reason it has 40%.
And I know why you don't like it. I think I nailed it. I swear to God, I don't want to repeat myself, but I think it's because you're Irish and you need like someone to be in pain and like vulnerable.
Yeah, you don't like.
I could even tell when I jokingly
arrogance.
called you a racist, you got like really concerned. Like, are people going to think I'm real?
Well,
I thought we're joking.
That's actually a legitimate concern. I know you're joking, but that's a
Sean
legitimate
should be concerned.
Yeah,
definitely.
People already think I'm racist anyway.
You know you're not racist.
I know I'm not racist.
So anyway, so he comes in. He's like a player. He bangs a lot of chicks. He's
Right,
like a player.
I got that in the trailer.
Then Robin Givens comes in. She's a player. She flips it on. He falls for her, and then he starts acting like a little, like a bitch, and he's bringing her flowers like a puppy dog,
So like a good man.
Like, basically a good man.
Brings her flowers.
Yeah, like a good man. And then she plays him. He's heartbroken. Halle Berry is like the shoulder he cries on. They have that moment. I mean, it's classic kind of romantic comedy.
It's a romantic comedy. And I love romantic
comedy. Yeah, but it doesn't have like, there's not like.
Then he goes back to, obviously what's going to happen next.
They're going to end up together.
He goes back to Givens, and then he realizes, wait, something's not right. He breaks Halle Berry's heart. But
that's all the last 10 minutes of the movie.
I don't know if it's 10.
Like maybe, last 15 minutes of the movie?
Maybe 15, 20.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer.
Okay. Basically, they go and they do this big campaign thing. It's a huge success. And then he goes. She's like, "Oh, I'm attracted to you again because you're stronger than you were. Like you're acting so much more confident." He's like, "All right," and he goes back to her. Halle Berry hates him,
and that was all because of Halle Berry. She like made him a better person.
Yeah. But that all that stuff happened. Like, there's no moment that I was like, wow, that's a really cool moment that him and Halle Berry are having. The only thing that they had was the Star Trek moment where they both are into Star Trek. But even that lasts like 30 seconds. It's not like they don't show enough of the Halle Berry, Eddie Murphy, like, fall in love situation.
The only thing that I'll defend in what you're saying is perhaps, since I haven't seen this movie and I haven't watched it in a bunch of years, maybe 10 years the last time I seen it, and before that, like I said, I watched it like 100 times. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But maybe, like you, if I watched it now that we're both around 40...
Yeah.
We both know there's no such thing as love. We're all going to die, and there's no point to anything. Maybe you watch it through that mature and realistic filter.
So you're going to watch it through my potato famine eye?
I am curious about this. We talk about this a lot. Like, what was the context when you saw it for the first time?
Yeah, I think
How
I
old
still
were
believed
you?
in love. I think
did you see it in the theater?
First of all, I am a sap for romantic. Like, I cried at Titanic. I mean, I am.
Who wouldn't cry at Titanic?
I mean, I just romantic. I cry at like Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson movies. Like, I'm like I am not a man. I'm not a man. I'm just not a man.
You are a man.
Look, real men cry at romantic comedies.
All right. Well, in the eyes of other men, I'm no man. But yeah, I am a real man. I cried. So when I saw it, the first time I saw it, I think I was a teenager. So yeah, at that time you believe in love, you believe in, then you're like, not only did I think it was funny, kind of when they got together, I was kind of like tearing up. I'm like, yeah, they belong together. She's a nice girl.
Yeah. But I actually, what's so funny too? Maybe it is my Irish thing because I was actually
you're just
really
bitter and upset.
Because I think David Allen Greer was funny in the movie, and I'm like, I think they should have. I was hoping he would have gotten with her.
Well, the only
it would have been. That's another thing. Story wise, it would have made more impact if her and David Allen Greer slept together, Halle Berry and him, and she was like not wanting a relationship. She just did that, and then she was way more into. That would have been more higher stakes. That would have been more like, holy shit, that's like it would have been more flawed. It would have been more like, you know what I'm saying? It would have been more like
more real, yeah.
Yeah, because
you were watching it through the filter of a 40-year-old man.
Right.
Just like you can't get past. You're like, none of this shit is real.
But I will
he
say
would have
this,
fucked her. And black people would not be successful at a company. That threw you off from the beginning. You're like, first of all, where is this black company? All right.
Well, that's what I think.
Who's the racist here? I am.
I think that was another thing that was done on purpose. I think it was trying to show, especially for '93, whenever this came out, where it was like black people in a position of power, in a position like I think it was trying to change. That happened a lot in '90s movies, where it's like showing black people in this position of like that you don't normally see in movies, which. Yes, 100%. Go for it. That made sense because it's a shame that it did seem off to be like, oh yeah, where is this company?
Hollywood actually always does that. If you notice, if you pay attention, there's always the judge is always black in every movie. The judge is black, and the police chief is always black.
Oh yeah,
pay attention to that.
And then no one
as
else.
if that's going to compensate. Like they almost do that to kind of like compensate. They're like. To try to trick black people, like, look, there's a lot of fictional. There's a lot of fictional judges out there.
But this was more of like a magical thing where it was
the
like
thing I'm confused about is
you
that
know what I'm saying, where it's like no, because you should see it more, but you don't.
Right.
And it was also like they were like successful, rich, like in advertising, which you don't ever see ever in movies, which is good. That was good. They did that.
I'm confused.
And I think
it's
especially
listed
for
as
back
a
then.
drama film / romance.
Oh, is it really?
So
Fucking
maybe
Sean wrote
it's
that.
not-
Sean went in there angrily.
Maybe the
and
intention was drama romance with a little comedy relief.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's
I believe
not.
there's a phrase for that. Dramedy.
It was a dramedy. I think it was a romantic comedy. I mean, I think maybe Sean actually wrote that.
Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4. Rotten Tomatoes, 40%.
40%
Well,
Rotten
that's the
Tomatoes.
problem. Right?
IMDb,
And that's the critics rating.
5.
What's the Rotten
0.4
Tomatoes user thing? It's probably
Well,
56.
Google
or something.
users 83% liked it.
Boom. So I mean, what are we talking about here? Oh, are you a man of the people?
The audience score.
Or are you a dictator?
On Boomerang, the audience score is higher. The full score is 40%, but the audience score is 59%.
The audience score is
Yes.
always higher. It's always higher in Boomerang.
It's a populist movie. It's the Trump of movies. It's a movement. The critics said no, but the people said let's make movies black and great again.
Make America Boomerang again.
People consider it a classic, actually, but it is a good movie to have in this podcast because a lot of people think like
Think
you.
what I think?
Yeah.
Well, I think here's the thing. I think if you look at it standalone, like I think of it as a drama that has a little bit of comedy in it, and it's like just a kind of an okay drama if you look at it that way. You have to look at that's the thing we talk about in the podcast a lot. It's like the circumstances you see the movies in, like you saw it when you were a teenager. You might have been in a relationship. You're like, love can happen, like whatever.
Through the 20s, though. I watched it through my 20s.
Right? Exactly. So you saw it like. There's a few people who were like, the circumstances I saw it in made me like it better, or whatever. Also, it's like, yeah, if you're telling me it's a drama, I would grade it higher if it's a drama. I would say it's it's good. I would say it's good because it's not a straight up comedy. And there's so many movies that are like, if you look at Something About Mary, that's like a romantic comedy. It's a slapstick romantic comedy, but it's a romantic comedy.
That's one of the best
That's a
comedy
comedy.
movies of
That's
all
a
time.
comedy.
Yeah, that's a straight comedy.
That's a
It's
comedy.
not a romantic comedy.
I would say it's better than
No.
Boomerang. I mean, that's one of the funniest movies.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's so
that
good.
Dumb and
Rewatch
Dumber.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
But what I'm saying-
I watched it the other night. I couldn't believe how funny it is.
Wow,
It's just
wow. I would love to see that
Yeah,
again.
it is.
What,
It's been a
Something About
long
Mary?
time.
Something
Yeah.
About Mary. I mean, it's unbelievably
that in a
funny.
long time.
It's unreal.
But the thing is, if you look at track,
Rest
my
in
thing
peace,
with
Cameron Diaz.
rest in peace, Cameron Diaz. Oh Jesus, don't do that. I'm going to get called racist, and
I
you're
just
going
don't know
to
when's the
get a
last
cease and
time we
desist.
heard of her.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But here's the thing: track record,
chillin'.
track record counts for these movies as well. So if you look at the things that all these people did before, even before this movie, you look at anything Eddie Murphy did in the '80s, and you compare it to this movie. It's like it's such a huge difference.
Drop-off.
It's such a huge drop off.
That's why I intercepted with this. Maybe it wasn't intentionally supposed to be a comedy.
I think you're right. I think it was supposed to be, but if you put Eddie Murphy in a movie, they're going to market it as a comedy.
No, it was meant to be a comedy. There's tons of...
It looked funny in the trailer.
Will you watch it and then comment on it on your next episode?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
be interested to see what you think.
It's a romantic comedy. I'm definitely going
It's
to
a
watch
romantic
it.
comedy.
I love romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Fine, it's a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, I look at all those people and I'm like, especially at the time this happened, because In Living Color was probably still going on.
1992.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was way still going on.
I love that show. And David Alan Grier. And then so it's one of those things where I'm like, that guy's so talented. So is Eddie Murphy. Like all the movies he did, like Beverly Hills Cop, unbelievable. All those ones he did in the 80s, like Trading Places. I was thinking about that the other day.
Trading Places is top 2, 3, 4, 5 comedies of all time.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if this is you have to, even though it's romantic comedy, comedy's still in the title. You have to throw it in with those if you have those people in it. Like for the type of cast this was, it should have been a much better movie. That's my point. Like for the cast is a reason to say that it's not as good as it could be, because you're like, oh my god, I love these people, and for me, I'm like, why don't I love them as much in this movie? And I think it's also the script. I think the script isn't as funny as a lot of the things and stuff like that.
Do we know who wrote it?
No, can you check on the thing?
Yeah, who wrote that?
Look who wrote it, and then look, if you can, look who.
How hilarious would it be if it's like Woody Allen? Written by...
Hold on.
Mel Brooks.
Oh, wait, what is this? Yeah.
Written by.
Is it popping up? Sorry, hold on. This is.
I'm opening the Wikipedia.
Here we go. 92.
It was written by... And then we just find out it was written by Donnell Rawlings. And we're like, oh, all right.
Oh, Eddie Murphy wrote it with Barry Blaustein and David Sheffield.
Screenplay by Barry Blaustein and David Sheffield.
And David Sheffield writes...
Story by Eddie Murphy.
Here we go, dude. David Sheffield. Nutty Professor, Coming to America, Nutty Professor 2, it looks like.
Honestly,
SNL writer.
On Sean's end, that's going to hurt me watching it. It is a little... I don't know. When I'm watching a guy who wrote a story about him fucking everyone.
What, it's a guy?
Like,
it was 1992.
Then it's a story by Eddie Murphy. He's like, I got a great idea for a story. I'm the best at fucking. I fuck everyone. Everyone wants to learn about fucking from me.
That's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Like
that's what I said.
Yeah, that's going to have me roll my eyes a little.
Yeah.
Because now we look
I'd
back and
rather
we're
it be
like...
like a script by some other idiot.
We look back,
you.
we're like, look, Eddie, if you wanted to make this realistic, you would have thrown a couple of drag queens in there.
Well, it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because there's a whole scene where they talk about chicks with dicks. They talk about like something with... I
don't remember that.
In the beginning of the movie, they talk about chicks with dicks, and it's kind of just a weird aside, and then they just move on with the movie. It's crazy.
We're all getting very 90s right now. You just called them chicks with dicks.
They do in the movie.
They call
in the movie. They
it.
say chicks with dicks. I'm not saying that. I got in trouble
He's
too.
referring to
transgendered people.
To her. We got to do this right. This is 2017.
Oh, let's not make this episode worse now. We already have all the black movie. I'm gonna get this.
How old are you? In your 20s?
Yes.
How do you know, Sean?
She's 17 years old.
Yeah, we're from a different generation.
She'll never say her age on this podcast.
It's a tradition. Everybody's asked my age, and it's top secret.
This actually, we got an email.
I'm 43.
This actually fits in perfectly to the topic we're talking about. Yeah. We got an email about somebody called you an SJW on the.
That wouldn't be the first time I've been called that, and I take it as a compliment.
Social justice warrior.
Who called me that?
This guy.
I'll tell you. Show me this. You got to show me these emails.
I got sent it to me yesterday. Hold on a second. You want to hear it?
That has its own acronym already?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought we were over that acronym.
SWV?
They used to call me that back in my Red Eye days.
I think it's sexist because it's warrior, so that's implying that she's a man. It should be called social justice people.
That is like an older phrase, though, like of a few years ago. People aren't really. I'm saying though, people aren't really using that.
All right, you want to hear the email?
Yeah, please. I get a lot of slack on these emails.
Let me read it. Sean and Farah, I heard about your podcast on You Know What Dude, and I just binge listened to all of them. Amazing show. So it starts off really positive.
Thank you so much. I honestly don't care if you don't like me, but just watch the show and send us money.
That's so typical of your show that your fans would love it. And before on this episode, you were shitting on your own show. Going, I don't even know what we're doing here. We're shitting. I mean, what are we doing?
You want me to read it?
Yes, and I want you to show me all these emails.
All right, cool. I just had one issue, and it's Farah's incessant SJW-ness.
But is this a You Know What Dude fucking fan?
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
He says the N-word every morning 100 times just to wake up. That's his cup of coffee. He just says, N-word, 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 and then he's up.
Well, he tries to explain himself. He goes, does she realize they're bad movies, and part of what makes them bad is that they adhere to stereotypes and generalizations? I am in no way saying get rid of her. She's great. Yeah, dude,
thank you.
But her forcing
Otherwise, he might have gotten rid of me.
Yeah, like that's going to happen.
Email.
Yeah, but her forcing SJW vernacular to admittedly bad movies gets a bit annoying. For instance, when you two discuss Goodfellas,
I was hoping he was going to have an example. Good.
Did someone say Goodfellas is a bad movie?
No.
We did.
No, we just
Farah
talked
finally
about
sees
Farah
it.
finally sees it.
Oh, okay.
She brought up toxic masculinity. I know she's young, but it's a movie about the fucking mafia. I know it exaggerates and it glorifies masculine violence, but it's a movie about the Italian fucking mafia.
Kid's got a good
which
point.
is toxic masculinity, though.
It's true.
That's true.
It's true.
That is that. I
Yeah.
wasn't saying
No.
it's bad because of that. I said it represents that.
That's
So he
true.
just goes on to talk about that, and then he goes, oh, how did you have a podcast about Moana and not once talk about the golden shower joke? It's like, it seems, like I don't know why this guy's watching Moana, first of all. I'm like, he's like talking about...
I didn't know about a golden shower joke in Moana.
Yeah. How did you have a podcast about Moana and not once mention the golden shower joke? Maui pees on Moana.
He does?
Yeah, I didn't remember it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
You know why? Because
I've
we-
seen it many times.
Because we
and I
watched
haven't
it
caught that.
and we loved it, and we watched it through the eyes of somebody that we wanted to be positive in watching it, and we weren't looking for piss jokes.
Well, that might be positive to him.
No,
It seems like
yeah,
it
maybe he's into
probably
it.
is.
Yeah,
When is there going to be a romantic comedy about, like, a guy who listens to Anthony Cumilla's
Oh, that's so
falling in love with the
That's
social justice
so
warrior?
good.
That would be
be
amazing.
an amazing movie.
That would be a great
Can you
That's
do that as a
fucking
sketch?
hilarious.
That would be fucking great, right?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
shit. I'm gonna cut this out. Do it as a sketch, dude.
Yeah.
No,
Do it
as a movie.
It's a movie, right?
Do it as a
It's
movie.
so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
They like forbid. That's like the new
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet. You know.
So it would have such an audience for like so many,
The
and it'd be-
tagline?
and like the controversy around it, and it's just perfect.
The tagline's like, they would never do each other's podcast.
the first time they met,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
called her a snowflake.
One loves Fox News, the other MSNBC. That is fucking hilarious.
I love that.
That would be
I
to do a
love
romantic comedy trailer sketch.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I think that
It
you
is.
just fucking
It's
You can
nailed
do it
it.
on the
Yeah, you
podcast.
could do it as a
Someone's gonna
trailer.
do it.
sketch.
Do it, dude.
So
You're taping.
funny.
You did tape stuff with Chris. Do it. You can do one.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
You could
funny.
tape. You could
It's funny,
tape
right?
one of the parts here. Alex will let you.
All right.
Oh my god, let's do it. Let's talk about it after.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up soon anyway. But you defended your movie very well. You did. You did. Here's the thing, man. I'm not coming from a place of like some of these movies. I'm like, I'll check them out, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna think. I wanted to love this movie. Like I'm like, it's Eddie Murphy. You don't watch Eddie Murphy movies, and also. You're starting with a curve. You're starting with like, Eddie Murphy's in it. If he just talks, I like hearing him talk. That guy, he's just that charismatic. So when I'm shitting all over it, it's more disappointment than it is like me. It's me watching it, wishing I would have watched it back in the day, so I would like it better now. It's one of those, and we've talked about that like so many times in the podcast, where it's like. Oh, if I watched this when I was a kid, I would have liked it way better now. But I think now from movies I've seen after this, and probably my...
I can understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I can
also you don't have to be an apologist. I mean, it's
No, I'm not an
this-
apologist. I'm just saying, whatever, to wrap things up. Like, that's where I'm coming from, where I'm saying it's bad. But I would say it's bad. Yeah, no, it's not. Because it also, like, I don't know about you, in my 40s now, like, anything that's like 90s or 80s, I get nostalgic for. And, like, I love... Like,
Also, when did you watch it?
first time today.
See, this is the other thing. Sean is constantly watching these movies morning of. Why are you watching movies in the morning?
Yeah.
It's never...
You know you were drinking all
and
night.
on our girls' trip,
You're hungover.
trip episode, I was like, we were a little out of it, too, because we had just come out of, like, a midday movie. That always puts me in a weird headspace.
Yeah.
You're watching this movie in the fucking morning?
Well, I was going to watch it last night, but I got home too late. And then we
You
didn't decide
always
on
are
it.
watching them in the morning, though, and I'm critiquing you on that, and I hope you get an email with a complaint.
Well, you know what's funny is when the first episode I did with Soder, and I said the word tranny I just said it, and do you know somebody wrote a review being like, yeah, good concept, but you lost me in the first 3 minutes when you used the
said
word tranny. And I was like, oh well. I haven't used it since. I don't even say tranny normally.
Here's another sketch.
We
can
just
do.
lost
Ready?
10,000
I know.
listeners.
Comedy clubs, like the future comedy clubs. What should happen is when you come in, you just order. Like there's a menu, and you can just order. Like I don't want these words.
Oh God.
I don't want this
Imagine
subject.
that.
Yeah.
That's. Oh my
I don't
God.
want any conflict in any of my jokes.
Yeah,
I just want to agree with everything that I hear.
And they just what do? They just wheel out Cameron Esposito? Is that what happens? I'm kidding.
No,
Very-
you're not, and it's okay.
Well, I think she knows that. I think I'm friendly enough with Cameron. I think she knows what she's doing is she's preaching to the choir. I think if you're a preach to the choir, and also this is coming from a guy who does fat jokes and fucking yells at the audience. Like I know who I am. So like when I'm making fun of myself as well. I'm not pushing any envelopes.
I just don't see using the word tranny connecting to being like someone who wants to appeal to everyone just because you don't want to use the word tranny because it is hurtful to a certain group of people.
To be honest, I used it. Honestly, it's funny because somebody brought up a good point about the word tranny. Like somebody who was transgender somebody asked them what's so bad about the word tranny, and they were a black person that asked them. They go, well, what if I called you Blackie? And it's like, oh shit, great point. I said it by accident.
No,
but
totally.
I left it in.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't say it. I don't know.
I know.
It used to be okay to say.
If the two of them were friends and they were joking around, they called each other that.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't be,
Yeah,
it
I
wouldn't be a
think
big
there
deal.
was just a
Oh, no, I
movement
wasn't defending my right to
use
say
the
it.
word less
Words-
and to inform
No, he's
people
talking
that
about in
it's
general.
hurtful.
He's talking about.
Yeah.
He's talking about overall.
I do like this idea
this
of
is
filling
different.
out the card at the club.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think.
it's
Oh,
like-
do I think the person that
I'd like to order this, please.
I think
And
the
just,
person
like,
that
specifically
Bring it
Tara,
back to you
it's like
in
you
the
sit
green
back and
room.
you're like, guaranteed no offense.
the person who wrote that review, I think they need to relax. I don't think they should not listen to the whole podcast because of one word that was said on it. No,
I think everyone should
But
listen to the podcast.
I think everybody should listen to the podcast.
Please listen.
Tell your friends. But what I'm saying is, I said it by accident. I don't normally say it, whatever. But like, I would never be offended. I would never turn around and go change what I'm saying to not offend anybody. But like, I'm not. It's not offensive anyway. This podcast mostly isn't. It's not like
No,
we're
this
doing
is a
movies.
very
It's a movie
tame
podcast. It's like, come on.
Well, even if it is offensive.
Yeah, whatever.
So what?
So what?
You
Yeah.
got offended.
Yeah,
This is
deal
the
with
new
it.
Legion of Skanks. That's our go-to. We're like, we're going to talk about movies,
Yeah,
but
Is
I'm
that
the Irish
really
gonna get
Is
bad.
that really what causes pain now? Is like your feelings? That's how comfortable we become as a society. We're like, your feelings got fucking hurt by
Yeah.
a comedian.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, just fucking get over it.
Well, then maybe you need to like go experience what life's got in store for you.
Yeah,
because it's a little rougher
if a
than
podcast,
that.
like honestly, you don't.
a little
see
rougher than that.
I just
Farah?
don't see
If
this
a podcast-
person as being like, I don't know. I
How
don't
is
think
a-
they're saying like they can't handle it. They're just like, I don't know. I don't want to listen to that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Go for it.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I'm like,
But I
it's
think
one
they're
of those
doing a
things where-
little more than that by like
But also, if you listen to the whole
actively
actively
writing
searching,
it, yeah.
right? I think also to be honest, like if you
I don't
listened-
remember you
if
saying it.
If I no, you wasn't. You weren't around
Ah.
yet. But here's the thing: I said it. To be honest, I said it by accident. I think I said it in the heat of the moment. Whatever. Whatever. I think it's a big deal that I said it. But also, like, if you would listen to the rest of the episode, it's not like it was like I was saying faggot, and it wasn't like it was like a pattern. I said it was one word, and then she was like, "That's it. I like the idea of your podcast, but I heard one word I didn't like, so that's it." Fine,
Right.
that's
That's on them.
Then maybe that's on them, right? That's all I'm saying.
It's
Yeah.
really weird. You know, it's really weird because it's like it's kind of flipped. Like younger people now are kind of more conservative. You ever notice that? The older people are kind of like, "Hey, we want to be edgy and say it," and the younger people are like, "No, that's too edgy.
Yeah,
Don't say
yeah,
that."
yeah.
It's kind of flipped where now, like the young people are, even though they think it's come so full circle because they've gone so far left. that they're kind of you end up being right by saying like, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
It's the same tenet.
There's there's craziness.
That's bad language.
Yeah.
Say it this way, even though you're referring to the same thing. That's a bad word.
Yeah,
it's like
I
the
don't
meaning.
No,
The meaning.
I'm gonna come back and be my SJW self.
Well, you'll lose the argument to me.
It just became a very different podcast.
The meaning of words always change. You ever notice nobody gets upset about the word cocksucker?
Yeah, but I think you're taking it too to heart that people are so upset. I think people are just like, oh, this word is hurtful to these people, so we've stopped saying it. Let's say it's the N-word. Oh, this word is hurtful
So
to
if
these
I
people.
went up to
Let's
someone,
not say it. It's not like they're
so
saying
if I had hate
they're
in my
gonna
heart,
cry.
what if I went hate in my heart, and I was going up to someone and I said, "You fucking African American." Is that okay?
But no one.
Is that all right?
But that's not what people are like talking about.
No, but I'm asking you the question. You got to
That's
answer.
fine.
It.
You can be.
So that's fine.
Yeah, like
if I'm punching him in the face,
I
as long
don't
as I'm
want-
calling him an African American,
I
it's
don't
all right.
know. Yeah.
Kind of,
People
yeah.
are allowed to fight. I'm not
No,
into
but I
like
hate criming
clean
him.
humor. I'm
No,
cool
he's
with
saying it's-
offending people. I think it's fun. I've never had like a clean act or anything like that. It doesn't have to be PC per se. But when it comes to certain terms that people have come out and said, hey, this hurts me. Maybe let's not say it then. Who cares?
But was
Just,
it the word that hurt them, or what the way people were
The
using it and
context?
why?
I think it's the word.
The word faggot the meaning has changed so much. It used to mean sticks and then cigarette. There's so many things. It changes. The word cocksucker used to be kind of a gay slur. Now it's just something
Is that
you
true?
refer to.
Cocksucker's not a.
Yeah, you can do that's fucking cocksucker. When you say it, you just mean it like nobody gets offended by the word cocksucker anymore because the meaning
Yeah,
has
that's
changed.
not offensive.
It's a change. It just means you drive a Saab now, you know?
Yeah.
It used to mean the same
a
thing as what
compliment
faggot.
to me.
No, it's
like
crazy
the
is-
N-word, when black people, you're going to tell black people they can't use the N-word? I mean,
no
they
one-
use it with each other all the time. You know, it's
They
like,
know-
I think
nobody
what
does
I'm
that.
different
pointing
meaning, so
to
it's the
is
meaning of the word.
divide between like someone saying, "Okay, let's not use the word tranny," versus like you being like, "That means that all comedy has to be like PC and it shouldn't be edgy and it should appeal to everyone." I don't see those two things as the same thing.
Well, I think that you don't personally, but I think there's people that.
I think that's overgeneralizing.
Well, I know a story about these guys that went and did a. It's not overgeneralizing. I think people are running into like ridiculous examples of it, so they're kind of getting a vibe that that's what's happening.
Right.
Like even if you look at those Chappelle specials, he was met with. And to be honest, I even watched those Chappelle specials. And I thought they were funny, but I did. For how things are now, I did was
It
like
was dated. There
it
were stuff
was
in them
kinda
that were
dated.
dated.
It was
It's
kinda
not
dated.
about like,
I
oh,
did
this
agree
was
with
like
that.
so
I thought it was
offensive.
funny.
It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a dated. Like you just don't have the information on what something is. You're speaking about
it's
it from like.
that I agree with, but
an
the
ignorant
actual
perspective.
word, like policing the,
I agree with that.
It's
I
the
agree with
meaning
that.
behind the words.
I
That's
just don't
what
want to
you wanna
wrap
change.
everyone into one ball and be like, oh, they don't like this, so they're like this, and they want everything to be this way.
Right. The way I see it, it's like understand, evolve as a person, and use whatever words society determines they are. But like the point is that you need to understand what a transgendered person is and respect them as a person. That's the important part.
Right.
Not like what the word you use to
Yeah.
describe.
I
You know what I
agree,
mean?
I agree,
So
but,
we're
you
kind
know,
of
it's like-
it's just a hollow protest. It's so hollow to me. It's
Yeah.
like that's not the issue. The issue is like call me a dirty Greek, whatever you want to call. As long
Yeah.
as you understand.
I mean,
You're not trying to fucking kill me or hate me or
Right,
discriminate
right.
me or not see me as a person the way it used to be.
Or
I mean,
bankrupt my homeland.
yeah, Greeks used when we first came here that we were fucking considered there's signs that said no Greeks, no rats. I mean,
Yeah.
So as long as
No,
you're not
you're
doing
right.
that shit, call me whatever the fuck you want.
Look, if I want to put up a no Greeks, no rats sign,
Well, I hate
I'm
to
going
cut
to
this
do
off.
that here in Trump's America.
If I hate to cut it off, we have to wrap up here. Usually, but right before we go, if you can, do three reasons to Farah, but not to me. I mean, 3 reasons that you defend the movie, like overall, almost like to recap.
John Witherspoon.
Okay,
John Witherspoon.
that scene, the dinner scene, which is it's funny because that's the
And
only scene that he's
throughout,
in.
whoop that pussy, bang, 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 bang. That physical comedy, hilarious,
Classic scene.
classic scene. One,
I'll give it to you as the reason, just so we can switch up reasons. It's a repeatable scene that people repeat to each other.
yes,
Classic
So
movie
any movie
scene.
that has
Classic
that,
music. It's a
you
classic
can consider a
movie scene.
classic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone who's seen that movie, that became a famous thing.
Yeah.
Hit that you got to coordinate, Mark.
Yeah.
I don't stop there. I got the mushroom belt. I got the mushroom, famous theme. That's one. Two, Halle Berry and Robin Givens in the same movie. So even if you're just into looking at hot chicks, two of them in one movie. Halle Berry.
Halle.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. 3, funny, hilarious movies starring one of the greatest comedic minds of all time, funniest people of all time, Eddie Murphy.
But not his best movie.
Not his best movie, but I mean, come on. That's like saying,
Okay, but just the...
I don't like The Departed. That's not Leonardo DiCaprio's best movie. I still like The Departed.
It's almost like you could...
And he's still
you could
good
put it
in
as
it.
like,
He's still great
He's
in it.
so legendary. He's like the J.D. Salinger of comedy, because now you don't... He's not in anything.
That's
you
a
don't...
really brilliant analogy, actually. He just called it quits early and like...
Yeah. You don't even... You
I
don't
love
see
that.
him at
That's
all.
how I would want to
The
be.
SNL
Height
thing he
of
was in?
success, respected by everyone, pieced out with my nice pool. and
Some
He's
people
the
do
Willy
that.
living a good
Wonka.
life.
He's Willy
That's
Wonka.
probably what Cameron Diaz is doing. She probably has a family.
Ah,
She's chilling.
I don't know about that one.
Well, I mean,
I
I,
think
honestly
that's-
have no context to what I'm
I don't
saying
know
there,
if
but
that's
I'm
up to
saying
her.
I like to imagine like the big stars of the '90s, and they're just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I got all my money.
Well-
I did my good work.
Well, I'll tell you, he's not a 90s star, but he was a star in the 90s and the 80s. You see that article with Richard Dreyfuss where he talks about nobody told him he had to save his money, so he says he's broke now?
Oh, a lot of famous people go broke real fast.
'Cause of
Also, I do
taxes
know
and-
Eddie Murphy paid for my friend's boob job.
Wow.
Whoa! That's a great way
Forgot
to end this
bring that
podcast.
up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we have to end on that. But also,
I went with her.
before we do it, Farah, will you see this movie?
Yes.
You
It's a
will.
romantic comedy,
Also,
of course.
I have
I'm curious to know
a
her
reason.
opinion.
I also know why. Farah, I think I know why you say it. I think I want to. I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Wait, what? No, come on. What is it? That's too good.
It's not true at all. I saw the trailer. It's a romantic.
She has a crush on somebody in it?
What do you think it is?
So she has a crush on somebody. in it.
I mean, no, just.
Okay.
You want to say it?
Yeah, come on. Oh, this is too juicy.
It's a romantic comedy.
Romantic
Obviously, I'm
comedy.
gonna
She
love
loves it. That's
I
what it
love romance.
It's a African American romantic comedy. No, it's not a bad reason. It's a good
Defend
reason.
your movie.
Giannis, would you like to plug anything, my friend?
I'll be at Rooster Teeth Feathers last weekend of August.
Oh, it's a great
club in Sunnyvale. It's
Sunnyvale.
my third time there. I love that spot. Tiny little intimate spot, real fun. Have you done it? It's great.
I have gone back. And when are you going?
Last weekend of August.
Oh, I'm there like in September, October.
So boom, you could see me and then Sean.
You back to back.
Back to back. And I got 2 new podcasts that I'm starting with my characters, which is fun.
Oh, that's awesome,
doing
Mr. Panos.
Marisa podcast and a Mr. Panos podcast.
Well, so
that's
you're not going
fun.
to do the same podcast.
No, it's their own set. I mean, they totally different fan bases. Nobody.
Wait, so will it be weekly or will it just be out every
Weekly.
Is it them
there's
interviewing
some-
people, or is it
Huh?
is it them interviewing people, or is
Well,
it like...
eventually, but right now, Mr. Panos is by himself, and Marisa and Angelo Lozada together. So it's fun.
That's funny.
We did the demos, and there's clips up online that you can find.
Awesome. And Farah, anything you'd like to say? I won't say plug because you get mad at me every time I do
No,
it.
I'll
so-
plug because I haven't done it in a while.
Okay, good.
Next week is Rent Party every third Wednesday.
It's a great show.
At Union Hall in Brooklyn.
Do you want to tell everybody what happened? I did the show.
Sean did the show and he actually did crush.
I crushed.
Despite what he thinks about how he does in quote unquote Brooklyn rooms, which we'll discuss. We actually need to discuss that next week. Just your whole you're in your own head about it, and it's not true. But we don't have time now. But come, maybe Sean will be there again.
What is the date?
It's a great show. August 16th,
What
Union
time?
Hall, 8 p.m. And
It's a really fun show. Go check it out. And Union Hall's an awesome
we
venue.
have a full band. It's a great time.
It's awesome. And as far as the podcast goes, we are on Showbiz Studios. They have a YouTube page. They also have a page on iTunes now, so you can check out all the great Showbiz Studios podcasts. Please check us out on Gmail. It's defendyourmovie@gmail.com. Shoot us a message and let us know. And also, we are on Twitter @defendyourmovie. And what else? And you can listen to us on Laughable, which is a really great podcast app where you can search for people for the episodes of podcasts they've done just by their names. What am I forgetting? We're going to maybe start a Patreon and let us know.
Maybe. Tell us what we should do.
Tell us what we should do if we start one. Give us ideas of what you guys would want. I want to do extra episodes, maybe videos or something like that. So maybe you watch the movies with us and we film it, or we
could
do
do
audio.
a movie. We could meet
night.
at movie theaters.
Yeah. Let us know, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you guys for doing this. You guys have fun?
It was really
Yes.
fun. Thank
Awesome.
you for having me.
We will see you next week.
And it was great to meet you finally.
You too.
Yeah, fun.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
My friend, there's a time